Everybody, I'm Jordan. I am the director of NewForce, and I have with me here today a few of our staff members. We have Sarah Brooks, who is one of our instructors. We have Barry Griffith, who is another one of our instructors, and we have Rebecca, who is our career services manager, who I'm gonna spotlight, but her video is not working tonight, so you're just gonna see Rebecca's blank screen. Actually, I can't, so we're not going to spotlight Rebecca. You just get to see us three. Before we're going to kind of launch into a little here's a informative intro slideshow to what NewForce is. That will be brief, and we will save the bulk of this time for questions for y'all. And you can ask any of us questions that you want. We don't have any alumni with us tonight, but if they are questions for alumni, we can always put you in touch with alumni. If you specifically want to talk to somebody who's been through the program, you can ask that and we can make that happen kind of later. But yeah, that's the plan. Before we get into the slide deck, Sarah and Barry, I kind of introduced y'all, but do y'all want to just introduce yourselves and just say a few words about your background and what brought you to NewForce and what you do now?
So I am one of the instructors, like Jordan said earlier. I have been an instructor with the program since August of 2021. I was a student of the program from March 2020 until October 2020. So I graduated from C3, and this application process is for Cohort A. I had a background in retail before this. I worked at the Disney store for 11 years, and then that shut down, so I made the switch into coding. I had never coded before I started the program. It is something that definitely changed my life. I worked at the state in West Virginia for a little bit before I was humbled and asked to be an instructor.
Background. Go for it, Barry.
Okay. My name's Barry Griffith. I'm a former student. I was actually in Cohort 3 with Sarah. Before NewForce, I worked in construction for around a decade. And then after NewForce, I worked as a full stack developer for a couple of years for the state, for the West Virginia Higher Education Policy Commission. And then over that 2 years, I pretty much bugged Jordan and Tommy, who was our senior instructor, until they finally hired me. And now here I am. I started in March.
Awesome. And then Rebecca, I can't spotlight you, but do you mind unmuting and just introducing yourself briefly so they know who they're talking to, and then we'll kind of go into the overview.
Yeah, can you guys hear me okay?
Yep, you're great.
Okay, great. Hi, everybody. I am Rebecca. I am the career services manager. Basically what I do is I work alongside the instructors to get all of our students prepped and ready for their job search. You meet with me throughout your time in the cohort. I'm pretty fun. What can I say? Everybody seems to think so, but yeah, really looking forward to getting to know you guys over the course of this meeting. Yeah.
Cool. Thanks, Rebecca. All right, so we are going to go ahead. I'm going to share my screen. We're going to walk through a little slideshow. If you have burning questions during the slideshow, go ahead and throw them in the chat. Feel free. We will have solid time at the end for Q&A, so we won't answer them during the slideshow, but we will definitely stop with plenty of time to answer all of your questions. So without further ado, here we go. We're just going to walk through what the heck is NewForce. So some of you all may know some of this, some of you all may not. If you are coming in blind and you have no idea what NewForce is about, let me tell you. We are a 6-month full-time training program. We specifically train in software development. So our goal is to qualify you for that first kind of entry-level software development job. Most of our students do go into junior developer, junior engineer type roles. Some of them kind of go into more other tech roles that are adjacent. So maybe not strictly coding, but maybe more like project management or design or QA and something like that. So there's definitely a little wiggle room within that, but we're knocking on a very particular door, which is junior software developers. We are tuition free, and we will stay that way. And just recently, as of this last cohort, we can offer need-based living stipends of $11 an hour, which is very exciting. And we'll talk more about how you can qualify those and what those look like later on in the slide deck. Like Rebecca said, we do a lot more than just teach you how to code, because just knowing how to code doesn't necessarily get you a job. You also have to be able to interview and talk about your code and work on a team and represent your skills well in the workplace. So Rebecca does just full-time career prep. Like, you get a lot of one-on-one time writing those tech resumes and cover letters and doing interview prep. And then finally, we connect you to open jobs, and we do our best to connect you to open jobs in the state, because we want to support businesses here in West Virginia as much as we can. But we also have some connections out of the state, and a lot of our grads end up working remotely with out-of-state companies. So it just kind of depends on your interests and where you want to work, and we'll do our best to connect you. And we can't guarantee that you'll get a job there, but we can at least make introductions for you. So that is kind of the general overview. These are our numbers. So we've been around since 2019. We started our first cohort in January 2019. So through all of these ups and downs of we had COVID, and then we had the tech boom at the end of COVID, and then we kind of had the layoff period at the beginning of this year. This is a big shakeup in the tech industry. And through all of that, we've maintained a pretty solid average of 86% of job-seeking graduates placed within 6 months of graduation. Our average salary across all of those cohorts is hovering right around 48 to 50,000. It does vary significantly from cohort to cohort, but this kind of across all of the years, that's been where we've landed. And as of now, the large majority of our graduates work remotely. So 97% work remotely or have flexible work from home options. I can't guarantee that will still be the case when this cohort will graduate, because this is always shifting. So I don't want to promise that you'll definitely have a remote job. But it's been the trend. And there's always rumblings of people going back in person post-COVID, but from what we're seeing right now, most of the jobs are still remote or flexible. So are we. We're a fully remote program. I assume that y'all know that, since we are meeting on Zoom, but if you don't, we are statewide in West Virginia. So you can Zoom in from anywhere in the state. You just need a laptop, and we can lend you a laptop if you don't have one. And you would be on a Zoom call from 9 to 4. So this is a lot of Zooming. We kind of made up that this would be what we would do right when we went remote in COVID, and it ended up working, so we've stuck with it. So you basically have a Zoom call all day with little breakout sessions, and you pop in your breakout sessions and work with your team. Or you can pop into a breakout session on your own and just have solo work. You have 3 full-time instructors. 2 of them are on the call. Tommy Spurlock, our lead instructor, could not be here tonight, so you don't get to meet him, but he's wonderful. And a lot of the learning is by actually writing code. So we are not kind of a typical school environment where you mostly have lecture in class and then you go home and do the homework. It's a lot more of class time spent writing code and getting your hands dirty with the projects. And then we're kind of there to coach and help you along. And we do that because we want to prepare you as well as possible for the job. So we kind of throw you into this mock workplace environment and have you working on projects and working on real coding scenarios, and we're there to catch you if you trip. I'm going to pass the mic to Sarah, who is one of the people you would be learning this stuff from, and we're going to talk about what you would actually learn. And if this doesn't mean anything to you right now, that's okay, because that's what we're here for.
Absolutely. So we have 6 months with everybody. So by the end of it, you're full stack. At the beginning, we are in the front end, which is where we learn HTML, CSS, and then vanilla JavaScript. And then we will go on and learn React. In the back ends, we have SQL Server, C#, and .NET. And that's in the last 3 months. And then everything kind of merges together in the last month, and C# and React get together, and that's where your full stack skills come from. If that means absolutely nothing to you, the front end is more of what you see when you interact with websites, and the back end is anything that would be data behind the scenes. So it would be like anything that would list certain things that you would see like on Target's website. They have a backend server that they keep like all of their shoes listed or any of those things. So like the backend is more about the data manipulation, and then the front end is more about user experience.
Awesome. And normally we would throw this one to Rebecca, but she is having some funky internet stuff tonight. So I'm going to talk to you about career prep. You can see in the photo on the slide, we do have like a headshot picture day where we take a professional headshot for you so you can look good on LinkedIn. We also do a lot of resume writing work with you, cover letting writing work. We do lots of interview prep, so like more interview prep than you'd ever want. You will be so sick of mock interviewing with us by the end of this process. And then we kind of have the whole, like, put it together, make you apply to a fake job that we make up by the end, and kind of walk you through every single step. And then we don't stop supporting you with that when you graduate. So like for our alumni from our last graduating cohort who are still looking for jobs, we still meet with them. We still look at their resumes and cover letters when they need us to. We still send them jobs. So the job search support is kind of ongoing, because that's when you need it the most, right? Is when you've got an interview tomorrow and you're like, oh my gosh, what do I say? And we'll get on a call with you and help you figure it out. And then, like I mentioned at first, I think the most helpful thing we can do is be your network. So we talk to employers and we hype you up, and then we bring them in so they can talk to y'all, and y'all can make informed decisions about where you want to work. And then hopefully we can kind of matchmake there and help you get connected to a company that really suits your needs. Rebecca, did I miss anything?
No, I think you got it.
So the big question that I hope is on your mind is what happens after graduation? Because like the 6 months is one thing. You know, you can train for 6 months, but like I was saying, the real kicker is what happens after the 6 months, and kind of how are we supporting you in getting a job. So we have over 30 employers, some of them in West Virginia, most of them in West Virginia, who've hired our graduates over the past few years. We work really closely with a lot of them they get feedback on the curriculum, they get feedback on like what kind of people they're looking for. They will email us jobs that they think might be a good fit for NewForce graduates, and then we share those with you. And then we continue that wraparound support until you get a job. I will say, especially like with I'm sure you guys saw the big tech layoffs that were happening earlier this year. The job search can be slow. So it can be definitely up to 6 months after graduation. Like that is unfortunately not abnormal. It's not super normal, but it just varies a lot depending on how the market is doing in our experience. So I really try to be transparent about that, because this is not a silver bullet, like quick fix situation. Like you would be transitioning careers, and job searching is really hard, even if you're already in a career, and job searching in a new career is hard. So that's not to scare anybody away, but it is just like, I want y'all to know what you're getting into. If you want to get into it, and we support you the whole way, but it's not necessarily like an instant fix. You're graduated and then you're like off doing a job immediately. So as long as you are aware of that and know that going in, then we are so happy to like help you every step of the way. Living stipends. Oh my gosh, we were so excited to be able to offer these. And they've been really good so far. So these are new. This cohort 7, the current cohort, is the first cohort to be able to take advantage of these. These are funded through a grant from the Department of Labor. And basically, we know that most people end up having to seriously cut back on work or quit their job in order to attend a full-time training program. And a lot of people can't make that work. So the living stipends are $11 an hour, 35 hours a week. And if you make less than $45,000 a year, you probably qualify. Because it's grant funded, we have a set number per cohort. So even if like everybody in the cohort qualified, unfortunately, we can't give them to everybody in the cohort. But most people who are in cohort 7 are receiving a living stipend. And yeah, it's definitely not like a full income, but it's enough, it seems like, to get people through. So very excited about that. Happy to take any questions about that when we get to it. And if this is sounding interesting to you, we have a mini course, and it's free, it's online, it's self-paced. You just sign up, you don't have to talk to anybody, you don't have to look at anybody, no one knows anything about you, you just like sign up and go through it. It's called Try Coding, and you can get a little sense of what this would be like before you apply, or before you say yes, which I think is helpful, just to get a toe in the water and make sure this is something you like, because we do not want to put you in a job that you hate. That is not what we're here for. I will drop that link in the channel as soon as this presentation is through. And last but not least, we're gonna put an application in the channel if you are interested. The application is a little long, and we ask, some of them are like kind of standard demographic questions. Some of them are more like short answer questions. And we're not looking for like beautiful writing here. We're not looking for you to have fully thought out thoughts on everything. We are looking for people who are good on a team, who know how to solve problems, who can teach yourself things, because the software development industry is constantly changing and you will be teaching yourself probably throughout your career in this industry. And we want to know that you want to start a career in tech and that you're motivated to see this through and to do a career change, which is hard. So as much information as you can give us on those qualities, really, really great. We are not looking for a bunch of tech experience. We don't need you to be an expert. It's cool if you are, like, it's great if you have some coding experience. That's awesome. Please tell us that, but it's not required. And definitely, like, no matter what background you're from, please apply. I mean, you heard Sarah has a retail background. Barry was in construction. I was in retail before I learned to code. Tommy has done a million things. He was like a salsa dancing instructor. So we all have non-traditional backgrounds, and we love training people who have non-traditional backgrounds. And we've trained veterans, we've trained school teachers, we've trained stay-at-home moms, we've trained folks who worked at Kroger. So it really runs the gamut, everything from, you know, people who have not really had much work experience to people who have advanced degrees. So please don't let your background keep you from applying. You've all got something in your background that'll make you really good at coding. It's just a matter of pinpointing it. Last but not least, we're going to send you a follow-up email. It probably will be, let's see, today's Thursday. It'll be next week, probably. That will have the links I'm about to put in the chat, as well as a PDF of a program guide. And we have your emails because you registered for this event, so you won't get any other spam from us, but you will just get these links so that you don't have to like paste them into a separate place. And that's it. We've done it. I am going to stop sharing and the floor is yours. Let's see if we've got anything in the chat. Okay, if you have questions, throw them in the chat, or you can raise your hand by clicking on reactions down at the bottom and then clicking on raise hand like that. Or you can just yell it out, but I'm worried that'll get a little chaotic. So let's try chat and raise hands at first. Can I tell you more about the stipend? Yes. So Jason, is there anything specific that you would like to know about the stipend? Okay, I can just talk about the stipend. The stipend is $11 an hour. You work 35 hours a week, or you're paid for 35 hours a week. It's paid on a biweekly basis. So every, twice a month, I think you get paid out. And it's need-based. So if you make less than $45,000 in your last job, you probably qualify. I think that's all I need to say about this stipend. Do you need to be a citizen to apply? Oh, that's a good question. I think unfortunately, yes. Well, no, you don't need to be a citizen to apply. I think you do have to be a citizen to receive the stipend because it is through the Department of Labor. So that is the only caveat there. So not on our end, but we probably would run into some red tape with the stipend processing. Okay. Dusty asked, when will we know if we are accepted into the program and how does this process work? Yeah, okay. So when you apply, you will go into our system. We read every single application. Sarah is the queen of reading all of the applications. She is so thorough and careful, but at least 2 people will read your application. We will be reading them, I think, through, I'm getting out my calendar, well into June. If we will have to narrow down a lot of applications, to be honest with you. So I would love to always interview everybody. Sadly, we do not have capacity to always interview everybody. If we bring you back for an interview, it would be in probably June and July, late June and July. And then the cohort itself starts in late August. So this cohort would start August 28th. So because it's kind of like rolling interviews and rolling second interviews, you might not know officially until July, yes or no, but that's kind of the process that we're working with. Okay, we have a question of what criteria are you looking for and what is your typical acceptance rate? Oh boy. So we typically get about 100 applicants. We typically accept 20. I will tell you guys that this application pool, how many have we gotten, Sarah?
368.
We've got 368 applicants, and we have 20 spots. So this is a terrible conundrum. It's a great problem to have, and it's a terrible problem to have. I think we will probably be reaching out to people about waitlisting with this application pool, because we never want to, we always have limited spots. We always have to turn away people who are definitely qualified. It ends up being not a total lottery, but a little bit of a lottery situation to get these spots. And this is just a massive application quantity that we did not anticipate and have never had before. So what we're working on now is a plan for like reaching out to people and seeing if you're interested in future cohorts. And if you are, we could go ahead and like slot you in for interviews for those cohorts and you wouldn't have to reapply. But that just like, I'm sorry in advance if this process is confusing and slow. And I want to also be transparent. The reason we have 20 spots and the reason we don't have more than 20 spots is we gauge our number based on how many jobs we are confident that people can get when they graduate. So like, I don't want to train 100 people and then not have them get jobs on the other side. So that's why we're the size that we are. And I Yeah, I hope that makes sense. Okay,
I can take the
Ash.
next couple.
Yeah, go for it. Thanks, Sarah.
Yeah. Our class is typically Monday through Friday. They are Monday through Friday, 9 to 4 every day on Zoom. You do not have your camera on all day. There are times where you might not be able to be here for a couple of hours. We're pretty flexible. But we do need you to have a really strong commitment to the program because, like we've said, we do have an extraordinary amount of applicants this time and not very many spots. Is FAFSA needed for the stipend? No, we don't need anything FAFSA related for the stipend. I believe Jordan said the program begins August 28th. I don't know the answer to this. Does the living stipend take into account spouse's income?
It does not. It's just yours. Yeah, just yours.
Okay.
Yep.
Aaron asked, is it just one interview or are there multiple rounds? We have 2 rounds of interviews. We have an interview that's pretty typical, that's like getting to know you. And then after that, we have a group setting interview where we see if you are a team player. We get a sense of like what we think that you will do for the program. There's no coding involved in the technical interview. It is more of just us getting to see how you interact with others. Have you had any high school students join the program shortly after they graduated? I don't believe we've had somebody that has done that. We've had
I
young
can speak to
people,
that.
though.
We've had early on, we had people who were in early college. And so nobody fresh out of high school, but we have had some young college students. We are open to it. Like there's no minimum age, there's no maximum age, there's no minimum education requirement. But typically the people in our classes tend to be folks who have been working for a little while and decided that they want something different.
Jason, I think that you're probably talking about the stipend and the how do you apply. So that happens during the interview process of we figure out if you're eligible, and then it's like a bunch of paperwork, like once you would get accepted into the program. After this cohort, when is the next one? Ooh, good question. Do we know, Jordan?
I have the dates somewhere. So if this one starts in August, it would end in like February. So probably early 2024.
Like March-ish, April-ish.
Yeah. I would say late February, March. I don't have the dates right in front of me. But yes, it would be February, March-ish of 2024. I did just drop the application in the chat, and I'm also, because I said I would, gonna drop the try coding in the chat as well. All right, Sarah, you want to roll? Or you want me to take a few?
I'm on a roll.
Keep going.
Do you need to be a West Virginia resident to apply for this course? You do. That is a grant thing. We're funded by grants. The grants say you must be a West Virginia resident. Well, knowing how to code in HTML and knowing some MySQL make me less likely to be accepted. But I already know this point of this is to expand tech industry, so I'm wondering knowing how to code might disqualify me. I don't think so. We've had people who have taken a boot camp before and they didn't get what they wanted out of the boot camp and they joined us, and I think that they were still pretty challenged and found a lot of good skills with us. I think that I don't feel like it would really weigh one way or the other with your application if you've had previous code experience. It just like lets us know that you would at least be into the job.
Definitely.
Okay, I did it. I got them all.
Yeah, those are great. Fabulous questions, you guys. Let's see.
Not add to your already budgeted.
Okay, I'm looking to join the 2024 session. Should I submit an application now or should I hold on and not add to your already large? Hold on. If you want to join a later cohort, just hold on. Thank you so much for asking that question. And we will, so right now we just have like an application period for one cohort and then it closes. And then we have an application period for another cohort and then it closes. we are going to have to probably rethink that with the volume of applicants that we're getting. Do I have a perfect plan in place for how that will work? I don't, but we'll figure it out. So if you're interested in a cohort, if you're interested in any cohort other than this upcoming one that starts in August, please hold, and we will publicize on social media and LinkedIn and our website when that application period opens. Yeah. Yeah. Of course. Question for Barry.
I really hated construction, so I was looking for anything to get me out of it.
Great.
The best motivator.
Yeah.
Barry, what do you like most about it? It was part of the question.
I think the problem solving aspect of it. So a client would come to you with a problem, and you use all this, it's like your tool chest that you built up over years. Like, you use all these different tech stacks you learned, and you solve the problem for them. So the creativity, you get to be creative, and you get to use your problem solving skills a lot. That's what I like the most about it.
Beautiful answer, Barry. What else we got? Don't have questions. Sarah's gonna start telling dad jokes, so you gotta.
They're not good ones either. So
It is both a threat and a promise.
I'm just curious, while we've got you all here, can y'all put in the chat like what industry you're coming from? Oh wait, hang on, let's answer this question, and then I would do want to see that. I'm curious where y'all are hailing from. Was it mentioned that we would be contacted sometime in July if accepted? Yeah, so I'll just kind of go over the whole process for the group. And let's see. So not a permanent acceptance in July, I don't think. Let me look. You would be contacted for interviews at some point in July, for sure. I think we'll be making final decisions probably at the end of July. Yeah. And please don't freak. I think like, if you don't get contacted by July, I would not take that as an assumption that you are not accepted necessarily, because we do this on a rolling basis. So I think if you haven't heard from us, you can always follow up, but we will send emails to everybody. And if you're not accepted, this is gonna segue beautifully into our next question. If you're not accepted, we will definitely encourage you to apply again, and we will get in touch with you. So no answer, like no email from us, does not mean that you're out. It just means that we maybe haven't gotten through everybody yet. Okay, we've got a question of, does being a previous applicant improve your chances of being selected from future cohorts? It certainly doesn't hurt you. We keep track of who's applied before, and we do take that to show interest. So yeah, I think I personally take that as a sign that you're interested and that you're committed to this field.
yeah, it took me 2 attempts to get in.
Yeah, it takes a lot of people, a couple attempts. Definitely. And that's not any fault of Barry's. Obviously, we love Barry so much that we hired him. It's just kind of like a little random sometimes. I mean, not completely random, but it's a little bit of it's a few spots, a lot of people.
I would love to take this ChatGPT question. So
where's the ChatGPT question?
It says, how is ChatGPT AI affecting your working classes? So the most we've had to do so far is tell people to stop trying to get ChatGPT to code for them, because it's not doing it right. But ChatGPT is just another resource. What I've told our current students and the advice that I give you is until China stops hiring developers, I wouldn't be worried. They would be the first person that would for sure automate everybody. And that is not happening. There's too many things that humans can do that bots will not be able to. Like, they might take some of our tasks that we don't like to do, and I'm kind of fine with that if I get to work on like the cooler parts of the coding. But I don't think it's a threat.
Love that.
Yeah, from some of my former classmates I've talked to on the job, they mostly use it to generate documentation for their projects, so they don't have to. It's like the busy work part of it.
Yeah, like the part that nobody wants to do anyways.
Yeah, but GPT will give you a lot of wrong answers in coding, so it's not always the
Yeah.
safest to use.
I want to go back. There's a really question that I love in the chat from Tina that says, if we are accepted into this program and begin working in an entry-level position upon graduating, what does advancement look like in this particular field, and would advancement require further education? This is such a good question because this is where the tech industry shines. Advancement does not usually require further education. So advancement is usually just like you picking up skills along the way. And that can look like a lot of different things. That could look like you pick up skills in different languages that you learn. You could pick up skills in leading a team and like managing a team, and kind of go into a leadership role. You could pick up skills in design and move into a design role. So the tech industry is vast, and because it is kind of this like new up and coming industry relative to a lot of other industries, it's not very like, it's not super regulated like other industries that have been around for a long time. So you don't necessarily need like specific certifications for every single job. Some jobs do require specific certifications, but a lot of them don't, and a lot of them is just like the skills that you collected, the portfolio that you could build, and the the network that you could build informs your career advancement. So it's a good career to get in if you like learning, and if you are okay with like a little bit of a loosey-goosey advancement structure, but there's a lot of room for growth. I love seeing all these industries.
I think that another really good point to make that is very different for anybody that grows up in Appalachia is that the tech industry doesn't expect you to be loyal to a company. So like there have been lots and lots of people that have started in one place, gotten a way better position in another place, gotten an even better position somewhere else, and they've like job hopped, but that's not frowned upon. That isn't looked at as something that is wrong, like how a lot of people I think in this area view it. Like if we say we're switching jobs, our grandparents are like, but what about your pension? And we're like, we don't have that anymore. So we have to do other things.
Yeah, great point. I see a question from Chad that says, do you have alumni that have gone into game development or working on social media sites like Twitch or TikTok? No game development. No Twitch or TikTok. Do we have any social media people? I don't think we have any social media people.
Unless John is, I don't think he is, right?
He works at Cisco. He almost worked at Pinterest.
Right.
That's probably the closest we can get. Yeah.
Doesn't Bobby do something with game development now?
Oh, he does. Yeah, Bobby does work. He works at a game development company, but he's not actually doing game development. He's doing like project management for a game development company. Yeah. Good memory. Yep. I see we've got an elementary school teacher, which makes the timing and acceptance for this cohort a little tricky. Yeah. I realize that like the timing is tricky, and one of the things that I would like to get better at is like being able to apply for cohorts farther in advance than right now. So like being able to apply for cohorts that would start in a year, so you could have more time to plan ahead. And as I'm sure you would, figure out if you were to enroll in NewForce, we are a very small program that has grown very quickly, which is definitely not an excuse for being like confusing, but yeah, we're still kind of figuring out how to how to help this many people and navigate this kind of big of a system. You know what? I just saw that Samantha has your hand raised, and Samantha, I'm so sorry if you've had your hand raised for a long time. I was totally focused on the chat and I did not see you, but please ask your question. I apologize.
Sure, thanks. I was a little curious, is there any like specific fields within the tech industry a lot of your graduates get into? Because I know Barry at the beginning said he works for the state. Is there anything that our specific skill set through the skills we gain through the cohort would lead us into? Thank you.
That's a really good question. Yeah, thanks for asking. So yes, and that is largely down to the nature of the tech industry in West Virginia, which tends to be a lot of government contracting. So a lot of our grads go work at IBM. They do a lot of government contracting. There are a lot of like agencies in the Panhandle that hire remotely that do government contracting. So in the state of West Virginia does hire quite a few people, but the largest tech employers in the state are like contracting for the FBI or for FEMA or something like that. And they tend to like the tech skills. That's why we teach C#. The tech skills that are involved for government contracting, how to say this nicely, tend to be like not the most cutting edge. So we're not teaching the like bleeding edge of software development usually, because so many folks are going into like what's essentially government work, but they're very good, stable jobs. So yeah, I hope that answers your question.
I think fintech too. We have a lot of people that are in financial tech.
Yep. We've got, yep.
So like if it's one or the other, it seems.
Yep, that's a very good point. Yeah, thanks, Sarah. Okay, we've got another great question. How many of the applicants do you generally interview for? So we interview, like everybody who is admitted to NewForce has been through interviews. So we don't admit anybody without interviews. And everyone wave to the little blurry child behind Sarah. Does Hank want to make an appearance?
It's not Hank. Come here, Emmy.
Hi, Emmy.
Do you want to wave?
It's okay. It's a lot of people.
No? Okay, got it.
How many people do we interview? I don't know for this cohort how many people we're going to be able to interview. That's a really good question, and I want to interview as many as we can. And we have a lot of applicants, so I'm not totally sure how that will shake out. We've got another wonderful question from Chad. If resources would allow, would NewForce consider having a separate nighttime cohort? We've talked about it. That is something we have like a sister school in Nashville called Nashville Software School. It's where I taught before I came up here, and they have evening cohorts. So it is something we have discussed. It's a little logistically complicated, and right now we're not seeing the demand in West Virginia. And we don't quite have the connections out of state to graduate like a whole nother cohort worth of people comfortably, without, feeling like we were risking people potentially not getting jobs as quickly, or not getting jobs as easily. So yeah, in a perfect world, I'd love to, because I know that would help a lot of people participate. Where will the link for this video be for anyone that wants to watch it later? That's a wonderful question. I don't know. Where would you like it to be? We could put it, I think Olivia probably puts it on Facebook. We could probably send it out in the email. Yeah, where did she put it?
I think that it lives in the GWV website.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think that it's like she shares like this is the link to the video, but it honestly might be on the Generation West Virginia YouTube channel.
Yep.
Yes, I think it was uploaded to YouTube. We're obviously very well informed on our marketing decisions.
We have an incredible marketing person who just did all of this. So I'm like, wherever Olivia puts it. We got a great question of if we want to get a head start on the program, what can we do past the try coding course? I'm gonna pass that to Barry and Sarah. I have one idea that I'll put in the chat, but do y'all have other ideas for head starts?
There's is it Free Code Academy? Is that
Oh.
the correct title?
I think there's Free Code Camp and then there's Code Academy.
Okay, for sure one of those would be a great start.
W3 Schools is pretty good. They'll have tutorials on pretty much everything we teach.
I use W3 Schools literally every single day. There's never a day that I haven't been like, W3 Schools, explain to me like I'm 5, even though I've done this for several years now.
Your library will have programming books too, and they might have actual courses somewhere that you can take online for free. So I'll check what resources your library has too.
I'll drop some links. Sarah mentioned Free Code Camp, which is great. I posted one called the Odin Project, which I am partial to. Code Academy has a paywall, so don't pay for it, but it has some free stuff on there too. Oh, that was an extremely long. Oh my gosh, what did I just post? Oh, I posted a sponsored link to Code Academy. Sorry, my bad. And what was the other one?
We do use GitHub. And we do primarily use terminal commands.
Yes. Oh yeah, LinkedIn Learning is a great one. That's a great one. Yeah, no Git Kraken. Just awesome. Y'all are on it. All right, we've got about 10 minutes left. Have any final burning questions? Throw them out. Anybody has a pet that they want to show us? Throw them in the screen.
We've stopped class for pets, so don't think we won't stop this for pets.
You
Oh,
guys.
Bianca, who is this beautiful cat?
Her
name is Baby.
Oh, wow.
She is very pretty.
I love her.
Wow. Thank you so much. Do we go over NoSQL databasing? We do not. That is something that I have been hearing about from employers. It hasn't reached the critical mass of prevalence to make it fully into our curriculum yet, but it's something that I think we may need to add a little enrichment thing on pretty soon, because it's definitely increasing in popularity among especially some of the government contracting people. Oh, you guys get to meet my cat. Oh, here he is.
Edgar is actually our employee of the month every month.
It's true. He's the biggest cat you've ever seen. Oh, Anthony has a big boy too. Okay, yeah.
Oh, I love Anthony's cat.
That's a very pretty cat. Okay, if we're at this point where we're showing off cats, I think we could probably wrap up a little bit early. While I love it and I would happily do it for another 7 minutes, it is late and everybody needs to go eat dinner or do whatever you want to do at 8 o'clock. I will throw my email in the chat. Full disclosure, I'm bad at email. Yeah, thank you. You can go to work. Nothing else important is happening. Great to see you guys. Email me. If I don't get back to you, just remind me, email me again. I'm sorry. It's been wonderful to chat with you guys. And we will post this recording somewhere, I'm sure. And
100% for sure. It'll
and we'll
definitely be
email you
posted
out.
in a place.
We'll email you out the links that we sent. And I bet we can include in the email where we put this recording too. That would be smart of us. So yeah, thanks for coming. And Sarah's gonna close us out with a dad joke.
Yeah, I'm gonna close this out with a dad joke.
Here she is.
And just know they are just as bad as you think they are. Okay. Why couldn't Elsa have a balloon? Because
was-
she always let it go.
Oh. Oh.
Boo.
All right, ending the call. Thank you guys so much for coming. It was wonderful to chat with you. We hope to see you all in the application pool and hopefully in the interviews. And thanks for bearing with us and hanging out with us. Bye.
Bye.
Have a good night. Goodbye. Sarah, that was a good one.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Hang on to your
Hang on to
balloons. Don't let them go. All right. I'm gonna call it. Y'all have a wonderful evening.
Right.
Sarah Barry, see you tomorrow. Rebecca?
Bye.
See you tomorrow, maybe. See you guys later. Bye.